Today in Cartoon Break News, the highlights of this video. Basically, the Backyardigans preschool anime series came back but pissed off all the fans of animation. But besides that, the second highlight of the day, the controversy of the creator of Machisaur, more of that later on. And the third highlight of the day, Gex actually had an adult anime series on the works and actually got cancelled. We talk about that so much more today in Cartoon Breaking News. Now, this is the first time on my channel. My name is Retro. I like to talk about animation, not just animation, do reviews, first impressions, cartoon theories, and sometimes, if I have some spare time, Cartoon Breaking News. Of course, I heard you like how it's going, you like to help my channel, put like, comment, and subscribe. That's the only thing you need to do. If you don't, that's fine too. If you do, thank you. Thanks to you, I passed my main goal of 1,000 subscribers. And my new goal is getting to 2,000 subscribers. Of course, I know I can do it thanks to all the people who like, comment, and share. Now, let's start the first cartoon breaking news of the day. Now, the first cartoon news of the day is basically Jenna, the creator of Backyardigans, that her show for basically teaching preschoolers decided to be remade because she died about 3 to 4 months ago, and Nickelodeon decided to take a good chunk of her musical songs of that educational show and just remake the animation to put it on their Nick Jr. channel on YouTube. The only problem is it pissed off a lot of people, specifically cartoon fans, the black community, and also the educational fans, because it just sort of did it sort of like AI. To be fair, they can't make it this fast making sort of music videos because it doesn't take that long. A group of maybe 10 or 15 people, each one of them taking at least a minute of animation, they can actually finish this pretty quickly. But it feels the art design, just the art design of each character of the Backyardigans looks kind of weird. I mean, it really stands out because they're making sort of bulgy, sort of big eyes, like they wanted to do or spar like Coco Melon, and that was sort of, I mean, a bad idea. In fact, some of them pretty says this looked like AI did it. In a way, yes, because it just looks uncanny. I mean, the first time you watch it, you're like, it's kind of not that bad, but you press play, yeah, it does look bad. It looks very unhinged, in other words, and I can see why the people are just mad, especially the black community, because Janet is sort of did this for the children. I mean, for educational reasons, because she is basically learn how to do animation, but understand educational to make it work. Because educational entertainment, especially animation for preschoolers, you have to go extra miles to be taught even more. You have to work with a specialist, psychologist, and breaking down what is the teaching method to teach preschoolers what works, what doesn't. So it takes a lot of time to actually figure it out to make it work. And this is the whole point of Janet, to basically accept everyone who they are, but instead of using humans, use animals and let the kids be what your favorite animal and be attached to it. So no one feel left out. This sort of the idea of Janet making this a preschool. It was super successful until she died, and this is the reason why she died. The contract ended because it seems to me the only reason why they did it, the reason why I decided to remake all the musicals, is because it's free cash, easy cash in the pocket. Because this musical animation looks unhinged. It feels still in the prototype stage. Yeah, I'm wondering why you decide this. Why you decide this specific design? And this is the reason why a lot of people saying, yeah, it looks like it was sort of AI. And you know what? I do believe him. It kind of looks like AI. Especially everybody are just so upset. Usually, I'm against being angry of remakes or reboots only if it's done very terribly or they just didn't care or misunderstood. I'd be upset, but not that over the top. But this is deserved to be angry. This deserved to be upset. Yeah, I'm not the one of the people, oh, you ruined my childhood. No, you just ruined the project. That's all you actually did. You just did it for the cash. You didn't care about the person who made this. You didn't care this was supposed to be for all the little kids who want to be seen in a animated project. This is just the whole point of the project. You just ruined it. Why, Nickelodeon? Why you're just so greedy? Oh yeah, I forgot. You're desperate for cash because you kind of broke your own network. But besides that, how you felt about this? You agree with the upsetness of remaking the musicals of all the Backyardigans music, or you think it's overboard? You think it's over exaggerating? You think it's just meant for kids, but yet it looks kind of unhinged. I don't know you. How you felt about this? Tell me down below. Let me know. Let's talk about the next cartoon segment. Now, this segment is actually kind of creepy, but at the same time sort of hilarious. It's sort of the reaction of people of this. If you don't know, in the past few days, the cartoon community had another, let's say, theme. Because the creator of the Magic Sword, Kyle, got caught having adult content with children. Not one, but two sort of things that I'm trying not to mention because I do not want to demonetize, that he got caught. He got arrested. Of course, this also means he probably will never work in animation anymore because he was caught having adult content on kids networks. So yeah, sort of obvious. He's out blacklisted forever. But besides that, the few people who don't know what is Magic Sword, what is the show about, it's basically two siblings adventurers who hunt down magic swords with a very comedic take. Basically, each sword has a sort of gimmick or gag, and they try to figure out what to do with this sword or keep it in the collection. And that's basically what the whole show is about. The cartoon community reaction is more funny than anything else because everybody's saying, yeah, this seems right. What I mean is, Kyle, the creator of Magic Sword, how he looks like that one of those memes who are especially a goon, in other words, that he seems like the type how he looks just in general. And I feel that's sort of the joke of everything right now. I don't know you. How you felt about this? It's almost saying like looking at a medication bottle, it says vitamin C. Yeah, that's vitamin C. It says right here, vitamin C. And this is how it feels. Like everybody just sort of memeing this, chillaxing. Yeah, okay. Maybe because Magic Sword wasn't a very popular show. It was sort of a indie, not indie project. It's sort of a web series from Cartoon Network. Was basically on YouTube in a Cartoon Network channel for a little while, but got popular enough. Cartoon Network decided to make a official series, but it never really had the big hit that Cartoon Network actually wanted of this series. But interestingly enough, people were upset, but not angry. It just sort of sideways. Yeah, he looks like the type, and that's it. And that is just sort of interesting. Nobody really mad. Disappointing, yes. Surprising, yes. But mad, not really. I just found that kind of fascinating. Especially some people are just sort of distancing himself from this guy. And because there are some animators on Twitter saying, oh yeah, I used to work with the guy, but I never met him. We never contacted. They all the channels I seen basically trying to be defensive, trying to be, oh yeah, I don't know I barely know the guy. I only met him once, or little things like that around the cartoon community. But besides that, just sort of surprising. I mean, it is disgusting, but yet, how you felt about this? You think the cartoon community is sort of underwhelmed or not really surprised? How you felt this? You care? You think the guy deserved what he made? Let's face it, he does deserve to be arrested, but you felt the reaction just sort of odd. I mean, it's just accepting, yeah, this is a thing. We all know it's coming kind of vibe. It's just sort of weird. It's something to talk about. But all about this, how you felt about it. You felt this is the right reaction. It's true he deserved to be arrested, but besides that, what is your opinion? Tell me down below. Let me know. Let's talk about the next news. Now, this segment is from Spongy Update, posting on his Twitter account /X saying open season Call of the Nature is now available on streaming service like Tubi and also as well as Roku. And this series was sort of distributed in a Discovery Kids in Latin America, the Disney Channel, and some European countries. And it also was shown of the Family Channel in Canada. And that especially was the post. Of course, some of you are wondering what is open season, and some of you wondering who know what's open season had an animated series. Yeah, I'm surprised too. In fact, I have seen some of the episodes, and it wasn't that good to talk about. That's the reason I never reviewed it. But open season was sort of a thing based on a comic book. It's based on the movie. The movie is nothing based on a comic because both of them are just so different. But what is the movies? What this series based about is basically two main lead characters: a bear and a deer get run over. But Bear, he was sort of kind of taken care of by a human kind of person who is a zookeeper in a way that she sort of raised them, but he knows it's time to basically kick him out, live in the wild because it's a bear. But Boo didn't like that. He was tempted to go back to the city, but he got sort of used to it in the forest. He decided to stay here with his best friend, who is a deer. But Deer was sort of unhinged and sort of helping how survive the basically nature. And that's basically it. In fact, this franchise had about 4 or 5 movies. One was sort of in theaters, the rest of the film was sort of straight to television. None of them were really that good. I mean, the first one was decent, like halfway was super interesting and fun, the other half just was bad. That's the best way to describe it. But it's nothing really to brag about. It's just sort of interesting they decided to make it instead of a series. Of course, what is about the series? Well, it's basically Boo, his best friend Deer, found this sort of abandoned, sort of like, kind of like a what's the best to describe it? Small town. It's sort of like a little cottages. It was sort of a theme park in a way. It was sort of abandoned, and everybody decided to live this sort of abandoned cottages around this sort of abandoned lake. And they have adventures and figure out what to do next, and trying not to attract human beings to be aware this sort of was abandoned, so they doesn't take away from them. And that's basically the whole series, just having fun around this sort of idea, and that's it. And it's alright, nothing to brag about or talk about or even review. It's something that it was there. If you're a fan of the franchise, that's your series. You can actually watch on Tubi or Roku if you have one or the other. I recommend Tubi. Tubi is very cartoon friendly because it has a lot of new cartoon things that I don't really talk about. Of course, some of you wondering was Tubi. Tubi is sort of a streaming channel, is for free. It's probably the best streaming service out there. It is sort of one up in other streaming services like Max and Disney. How good this streaming service really is. And once again, it's for free. But besides that, do you care? Tell me down below. Let me know. I got nothing else to say. Let's talk about the next cartoon segment. Now, this segment is from Cartoon Empire. I kind of want to talk about it because it's sort of just an update, but something that's just so interesting that I need to talk about it. Now, what if the post in Twitter X on Cartoon Empire saying, following the broadcast on original Johnny Bravo pilot last night, it was set on Checker Pass on Cartoon Network. Many other shorts will come out later on with all cartoon shorts series on July the 29th and on November 5th. So they gotta basically keep showing shorts of that specific program. But the thing that sort of interests me about this post is the first short they decided to show is Johnny Bravo. If you don't know, Johnny Bravo was a classic cartoon back in the day who actually built Cartoon Network to be the success it really was. But interestingly enough, Cartoon Network, it kind of was gunshot about showing more Johnny Bravo. The fact they won't have a celebration, they don't talk about it, they avoid talking about it, they don't want to basically show any reruns. People don't know why they doing this. People believe, oh, maybe because he's not politically right. And the thing is, he was never politically right to begin with. Johnny Bravo was sort of a warning to everybody not to be this guy, especially young kids or guys, showing don't be this guy. You're an ass, or you pretend to be him. But the top of it is, he is sort of an asshole, but he also was a gentleman. He always Messi respected women. Like, yeah, I date you, but not the woman I wanted. But because in this situation, let's do it. Like, he just screw it, let's do it. He never was legitimately awful to women. He sort of crossed the line, asking women out, but at the very end, that was the joke. That was trying too hard to be the gigolo, the handsome guy, the good-looking guy. In fact, the biggest fan base of Johnny Bravo are women. Women adore Johnny. Even my own sister adored this. In fact, her explanation she told me is basically the reason why she liked Johnny is the fact pretty people can fail too. And this is the reason why she adores Johnny, because he's pretty, but he failed and she relates to him. Even that she probably met a dozen guys like him, but you want to see a guy like that fail, get his comeuppance. And this is the reason why women, especially women, adore him. Besides guys, his fan base are women ironically. Even that the reason why he was sort of promoted, picked up, is because women executives who was running Cartoon Network that time pushed for it. But guys didn't want this to be promoted because they thought it was sort of controversial for little kids. They don't want to kind of mess him up, be like him. And the women reject the idea. No, no, no. This is the reason why you should post this on Cartoon Network. It's because the show not to be him. Of course, just learning what he does is the wrong way. Doing more politeness and being more a gentleman is the right thing. And that's sort of the joke. It's just sort of ironically, they still doing the same thing. But that's why I'm surprised they decided to post the first short of Johnny. All this time, they are rejecting Johnny, not noticing. I don't know if it's because of right issues, the creator still has the rights. Maybe he doesn't want to be posted anymore of his show or not. We just don't know. But it's just sort of interesting that decided it's okay to show Johnny back again. Honestly, we don't know how they're feeling. I don't know if it's because of the contracts or what. I don't know. Tell me below how you felt about Johnny Bravo. You think it's just sort of overdone it? They show get respect to Johnny, or you prefer, yeah, forget him about the past because he's sort of outdated. Tell me down below on your opinion. And now let's talk about the next cartoon segment of the day. Now this segment is from Deje Abajo MX. It's basically a news website that tweets up in their own Twitter account and posted on their basically main channel. They have talking about Spooktilda and the reason why it was sort of successful in Mexico and Latin America. And it just sort of gave a sort of statement in their opinion why it's super successful, even as the most watched animated project until that time. To be fair, the cartoons in Mexico or Latin America, they're limited. They're not a lot of them. There are a few. We get a few cartoon Mexicans or maybe every 5 years or every 10 years. I mean, it takes a while to make one because it's not standard in other words, and that's why they struggle. But besides that, what this article sort of explains, or their opinion, why Miss Spokelda is successful is because it's sort of a rare breed. The way she means or he means all day is because kind of tell the crib like goosebumps and don't be afraid of the dark are just sort of statements to scare little kids, or at least appropriate. Back in the day, those type of shows was very popular. Nowadays, nobody really make them as much, only if they do in certain specific countries, but even that, it's not really that popular. It's just sort of like a blip and you blip on your own screen for a second and you ignore it because nothing really grabs your attention except for Spook Tilda. Because this series is something sort of special because the main lead, how she introduces this, she's sort of a ghostwriter, quite literally, and started telling the stories from Mexico, sort of horror stories to convince you to learn a lesson, to be brave, to be strong, to not doubt yourself, but yet give it a hard twist that you not expected, but also telling you something's up with Spook Tilda. And this is sort of the formula what this dying sort of genre was sort of success because of this show. This sort of technique of making stop motion. Could be the first, I think it was the first stop motion that Mexico ever made, or maybe second, but it's one of the most popular one. Maybe this is the reason why it was so popular according to this article. But even that, it just sort of surprised me, just hit the nail so well of this sort of appropriate horror story for kids because it sort of take that sort of back in the day, like Goosebumps, A Tales of the Crib, or Don't Be Afraid of Dark. It fit to that genre so well. It understood kids in Mexico just so well. It just resonated a lot of people. Of course, it helps so much that don't have a lot of Mexican cartoons. So this is part of the few reasons why it was so successful. Probably a lot of Latino kids want to see this because they feel they represent their culture and their people well. And also on top of this, it's sort of a very niche kind of genre. They stopped making them. They still make them, but it's sort of along well. It also is not as popular it usually is. So yeah, it also how grim it is just grab your attention. But yet, this is the reason why maybe it was super successful. This is the reason why they make the movie and it coming soon this year, hopefully, and they finish productions. And that's basically what it says in general of this sort of article. This is what it assumes why Swixheda is super successful. You know what? I kind of agree because kind of horror stories or sort of episodic horror stories are very rare nowadays. So yeah, I can see why it's super successful. I mean, you can compare like new horror story for kids or general audience. It's not as popular and how it used to be. But once more, it's sort of your opinion and how you think this article does make sense. You can look it up. You can find it on Twitter. I can actually show you the link out here on my camera. You can actually see it if you want to read the article. It's only Spanish, but you can translate it in Google Translate and translate everything for you. But besides that, what are your opinion of this article? You think it hits nail on the hammer pretty accurately, or you kind of disagree about this article of this opinion? Tell me down below. Let me know. Now let's talk about the next cartoon segment. Now, this segment is sort of an update of the first video because I didn't cut this till right now. CN News posting of the following. After the news found out about Kenny, Cartoon Network YouTube removed all the interviews, all the videos of their own cartoon YouTube channel. But on top of all this, it's sort of hard to remove art from the artist because he did voice the main lead. He also wrote most of Match's storyboards and also stories of it. But be known, this is not the only artist working on Match's Sword. Many other artists help out. Unfortunately, some people have to be sort of caught block because this sort of situation. On top of all this show was sort of removed by the merger. They removed from Hulu, Cartoon Network, and YouTube until they decided to restore it on YouTube, not sort of be delisted on YouTube once again. And once more, it's sort of unfortunate this happens. And at the same time, I think it's probably the best move they actually could do with it, especially the controversy with Kenny, the situation he got cut off, and now this is the only solution that Cartoon Network could do. I don't know you. You think Cartoon Network overdid it, or you think it's the best possible way you can do it, even that you're hurting other artists who actually work with the guy but have nothing to do with the guy. I don't know you how you thought about this. You think it was a smart move or not? Tell me down below. Let me know. Let's talk about the next cartoon news. Now, Cartoon Broom did a sort of exclusive from Dennis, the creator of Feeding Train. And this is sort of interesting because the whole long article page they made on Twitter/X goes to the details, what ideas he actually wanted to do in Infinity Train he couldn't do. But there's one segment of this sort of interview. It's just so interesting that Cartoon Broom reposted it because it's just sort of fascinating. This is the reason why I started reading the article. One of the ideas he wanted to do, doing working in regular show, that he wanted to do a Gex TV series, a adult one. The reason why he wanted to do this is probably the only IP he was sort of interested in doing because sort of reversing the trope of Gex. If you don't know what Gex is, it's sort of a video game mascot from Square Enix that this character is obsessed with IP. It's sort of a jump, sort of discover things around the world, and that's basically it. It's just sort of one-liners and just sort of cliches of during that 90s period. But the whole idea, the pitch of Owen Dennis and his slash partner, co-worker, that they want to do adult version of Gex. And the whole point of the pitch is basically Gex sort of realizing what else is more alive than actually just doing sort of IP, just repeating Austin Power quotes or any other popular quotes of other films. Understanding he is a real person and attempted to run away to escape this sort of world, trying to not to be rebooted every single time, but this huge organization being Square Enix. And every time Square Enix get their hands on Gex, he changes, he sort of forgets who he is, and the process restarts. At least that's sort of the pitch. And that itself intrigued Square Enix, the owners of the original Gex franchises. They actually wanted to do it, but they keep talking on their partners in the last minute. They decided to not do it. And that's just sort of sad. The idea rebooting this IP, being so self-aware, understanding, to be more or less 2D, be more real, and basically against pop culture, trying to be more who he really is, what he make him tick, found so fascinating. It's something feels a really great idea, and Square Enix wanted to do it. It's just the people are higher up kind of disagree of the pitch. They just didn't want to. And that's just sort of sad because this could be another great hit, especially with Owen Dennis and his partner. Both of them understood how to develop a character, kind of break a character in part and see what they ticks, what they dislike. The reason why Gex love Onset Power, love kind of pop culture, just explore that character, who he is, sounds just so interesting, especially how the whole idea just rebooting this character, knowing he be rebooting again, trying to escape, and that's just sort of interesting. How you tackled that idea, I found fascinating. In other words, I don't know you. Do you like the idea? You wish this was actually happening? Tell me down below. Let me know. Now let's talk about the next cartoon segment. Now, this statement is from Manga Mogul from Twitter/X. It's basically a news for specifically anime and manga. And it's just reporting the box office earnings of Look Back. If you never heard it or you forgot what that was, basically Look Back is from the creator of Chainsaw Man that made a sort of a one-shot manga. Basically, two girls are kind of want to be in a manga. One's a good writer, the other one is a good animator, but both lacking something, and both of them are sort of kind of rivals. But it's just sort of one shot, interesting kind of perspective of starting a manga, and that's basically it. Actually, it's very good. It's shockingly good. I was not surprised they decided to make this to an anime, specifically a anime movie, but I'm sort of surprised. Supposedly reading this, they slightly changed the end because how described is exactly what I said. Two girls learning how to draw manga till something happens at the very end, some tragedy, force the other one to do something else. And that just sort of surprised me. What thing they actually changed or what events? But be fair, the original manga, nothing really that bad happens. Is that one got sick and the other one visit, and that's how they first meet to understanding what the other one's good doing drawing and the other one good writing, and they just complement each other. And that's it. It's more deeper how I say it. Believe me, it's one of those you could say it's cliche, but done so well. It's shocking. It's something that I recommend anyone who wants to start manga, reading manga, read. Look back. It's safe. It's basic, but done so well. And according to this, they actually have a huge earning in the box office of 1 billion yen. Of course, I don't know how much that is. Supposedly it's 990 million. So I guess dollars doesn't clarify, but I guess it's dollars. But besides that, this total people who watched it is around almost half a million. Total of 500, 800,000 viewers. Basically, it's a big hit from the creator of Chainsaw Man. Yeah, who would have thought this would be a big hit? Of course, be honest with you, it's sort of Chainsaw Man, the creator. He knows what he's doing, especially in one hit manga. Every time he does one shot, he just works because he has a very unique perspective. That perspective always help him to do great manga. I'm just saying, I'm praising the guy how good a writer and animator he really is. But besides that, you are excited this was a big hit. Or you gotta watch this when it finally comes to Crunchyroll. Or you gotta buy it online when it comes out. Go watch a sub or dub, tell me down below, let me know. Now let's talk about the next cartoon segment of the day. Now this is from Cartoon Room / Twitter / X, whatever you want to call it. It's something really big. It's basically a new animated musical from Warner Brothers and Locksmith Animation. Both of them are joining to create a new project called Bad Fairies. The people who are running this, especially Toby and Lucy, the co-creators of Six. If you don't know what that Broadway musical really is, especially is sort of the six wives of Henry VIII, if I'm correct. It's basically just sort of doing a musical perspective of the six ex-wives that he actually divorced, killed, or lied, or betrayed, in other words. And that is a very short musical. It's something that I recommend just watch online or by the release songs. All of them are bangers. The six is just that good. Especially a surprise who could direct this film is Megan. If you don't know who is Megan, is the creator of A Santa World from Netflix. If you remember that 2-season amazing series. I mean, Pegasus, not Pegasus. Santa World is just sort of weird and out there. It also is a musical, but just so crazy. You catch you off guard. It's one of those you have to watch 3 episodes or 4 to get what it's trying to say, because everything is so over the top, loony, crazy, but everything just makes sense to the very end. You just understand what they're trying to actually make. But besides that, I'm quite surprised they decided to join forces to make this new musical. Of course, this animated project we don't know much about. It's not yet revealed, but of course they're saying this new project will come out on July 23rd, 2027. But we don't know that'll be in the UK or here in the United States, because Locksmith Animation, it's the same company who they're specifically from the UK in other words. So yeah, I'm surprised they joined to Warner Brothers instead of in the West in the United States. So I'm guessing they're sharing profits of their land and our land, and that's how it usually works. They just pay half of it. It's more cheaper and more possible than anything like that. But I have to admit, I'm surprised these two specific creators are combining to create this new project. Even we don't know what it's about, but Bad Fairies sounds very interesting. More specifically, the creators, because Toby and Lucy who created the Six, it's amazing. Something is just really a great musical. On top of this, it's very short for a musical. I mean, it's one of those you watch you'd be surprised how fast it ended. It's just like an hour, 10 minutes. It's short, but it's worth watching. It's one of those like a banger. In fact, I recommend just watch some of the musicals online on YouTube. Some fans did it sort of animatic of some of the music, and you'd be surprised how good it really is. But besides that, I'm more surprised Megan, the creator of Santa World, are creating or directing this. It just sort of makes sense because she made Santa World. I don't know you. How you felt about this? You think this is a fun project coming to into the future? Because it is, seems fun. I don't know what it is, but I want it. I don't know you. How you felt about this? Are you excited or not? Or are you gonna wait for the trailer to come out and give your final opinion? Tell me down below. Let me know. Now let's talk about the next cartoon segment. Now this segment is from Toon Hub. I'm sort of surprised they post this. Basically is Be Cool Scooby-Doo returns back in the air on Cartoon Network on Monday, July 22 at 11:30 a.m. And of all the Scooby-Doo projects they decide to bring back and re-air, it's sort of surprised they actually chose this one than the rest. Because this one's sort of divisive because how they depict the characters. I mean, some of the characters are good. The only problem is it's just sort of lack focus a little bit because the main focus of this version of Scooby-Doo is sort of the comedy. And nothing wrong with it. It just sort of lose focus. It keeps changing the tone of each character. Specifically, not Velma, Daphne now words. Yeah, I feel she's the one sort of kind of slow the pacing a little bit because you can't predict her. But all of that, it's just a okay project from Scooby Doo. The one major complaint I remember everybody complaining, including to me, is sort of the art style. It's just too close to the original Family Guy, and that's why people are sort of kind of hating it. Mostly is because the art style is just too similar to Family Guy. It just pissed people off. You feel out of place. Doesn't work Scooby Doo. But actually, I mean, it wasn't a bad project. It just sort of a little bit mishandled, especially if you research the behind the scenes, because people did have sort of kind of arguments doing this project. You could actually tell the fact there's some leaked art from the pre-productions. You can see where they're going. It looks super badass, but because of the arguments, the fallout of the other team members, you have this. So yeah, you could tell why people were sort of mixed about this. But all of that, I sort of not excited. I probably maybe watch it if I have some spare time, or just skip it. I don't know you. You would actually skip this? Do you want to see it? Or you're not a huge fan, you just don't care? Tell me down below, let me know. I got nothing else to say. Let's now talk about the next cartoon news. Now, our next segment is from Kasuta from the Twitter account /X, posting the first trailer of Roma 1.5, new series by Mappa, based on the same creator of Inuyasha. But I seen the trailer, you have to admit, it looks pretty good. I mean, of course, it's Mappa, they usually on the ball. But besides that, the people who least don't know what's Rumba 1.5, it's basically this sort of young martial artist who trying to train to be the best because his father can push him to be the best. Till he got close to China, the Pacific sort of waters, they like a sort of secret land they sort of forbidden to pass in, but because it sort of was sort of dangerous, it seems to them be a perfect training ground for them to keep practicing their martial arts. But the reason why it's sort of forbidden to pass in the lake, because each Pacific lake or puddle in the training area, they was sort of cursed. Whatever lake you fall into or pond, you become that whatever curse who actually died. And this is sort of the hint. This is sort of a gag manga or gag anime because the whole tropes of all the girls falling in love with one guy, the tsundere, the nerdy type, the one who like to basically use you for money, every single trope for a female character is from One and a Half originally. This show, this anime is the one who made all the tropes actually successful. Everybody started copying One and a Half. But make this super interesting. When Rama and his father fall in the lake, Rama becomes sort of a woman, and his dad becomes a panda bear. But the only time they turn to becoming a woman and bear if they have cold water. If they want to be turned back, they have to have warm water back to their original form, in other words. But the whole gag of the whole series is sort of Rama figuring out how to deal with this sort of change and deal with all the different type of martial arts. I mean, all type of martial arts. I'm not over exaggerating. It is all type of martial arts. You have martial arts of checkers, martial art of basketball, martial arts of cooking, and that's sort of the gag of the whole series. And it is pretty funny. Even this anime is pretty old. In fact, the only people who actually remember this are people who watched it on YouTube when YouTube used to be sort of the Wild West. In fact, this is the reason I actually watched Ramba because someone actually uploaded all the seasons. Yes, with the S, seasons. This series, the original run, has 5 seasons, 2 movies, and I think one OVA anniversary, if I'm correct, but it never really had a conclusion for a very specific reason because the manga never really ended till I think in the 90s they finished the manga after they started in Inuyasha. But besides that, this sort of interesting if they actually give with the ending. I'm okay with just having 12 episodes because it's sort of a gang manga. It's sort of repetitive, all the jokes, repetitive, all the characters, but it's done well. Like the repetitiveness is there because it works. Believe me, oh, I've seen all 5 seasons, the OVA, the movie. I'm a big fan. But the only question is, a lot of fans were actually asking when they decide to release this, how are we gonna handle all the fan service? Because the original did not care. They almost showed everything. I mean, Rama was not sometimes not wearing a shirt. He was just all woman version of him, just showing it off. Yeah, I was like, okay, this guy doesn't care. But at the same time, he really doesn't care because he still assumes he's a guy, even that he still has a woman form. He doesn't have a choice, but yet he doesn't care. And that's sort of interesting and fun. It also, how can you fix that? Can you change it or not change it or control the fan service? A lot of questions and wondering they actually go 100% hardcore like the original. A lot of questions we're about to find out on the October the 5th because that's the time the whole, at least the first 10 episodes will come out on Netflix. So if you're a big fan of Rumba, get ready for it on October 5th. They're gonna release the first 10 episodes there. But of course, I don't know if it'll be on Japanese Netflix or American Netflix. I just don't know, so don't quote me on this. But all of that, are you excited? Of course, one thing I did notice before I end this is the fact it feels copy and paste. Because every time they remake a new anime from an old anime, there's a habit of copying and pasting without adding any differences. And that's sort of the question. If they're copy pasting the same thing, but actually making the animation better. If it does that, I'll be a little bit disappointed. Be fair, Rumba is just used to being recycled, so it kind of makes sense in a way. But I don't know you. How you felt about this? Do you care or not? Are you okay with this? Or just curious how they're gonna handle the fan service? Because the last one was sort of hardcore. So tell me down below your opinion. And I got nothing really else to say. Just talk about the next cartoon news. Now, our final segment of the day is from IGN. Even that I don't like IGN sort of reporting, but once in a while they have something very fun and interesting to talk about. And this time they're posting on their Twitter/X. Basically, the graphic designer from Beyblade, Genji, sort of made a joke and sort of semi-serious that Beyblade one day could be an Olympic sport. In a way, it could be possible, maybe, but once more jokingly, but at the same time, because this anime is just so popular, even the manga, the toy still sells. One day it could be possible if the technology improved that you actually control big blades that good in real life. In a way, you can, but not as well as the anime. But one day, maybe. In fact, you like this, you actually believe this could be an Olympic sport in the far, far future if the technology exists. Of course, everybody's joking, but what's more, what if? I don't know you, how you felt about this. You like this sort of stab in joke and I'm not? Tell me down below, let me know. I got nothing else to say, just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.